Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Before we get started, I've started a new Facebook group which you might want to take a look at. I'm trying to get a car community off the ground where we can all join in and share our passion. All scripts and charts used in my films will be available to you there, as well as the chat from the other members, of course. Give it a shot. I'd love to have you along. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, and you're welcome to join me there too. But for now, back to the show. Did you know that right now in the United States there are well over 2,000 Porsche 911s made between 1998 and today for sale in the United States? Did you know that their total value is over $250 million? I do, because I entered all of them into a spreadsheet. Yes, I spent several days tapping all the 911s currently on the market diligently into a spreadsheet and stratifying each model by weight, power and cost. I did it so you don't have to. New viewers to the channel might not know, but this year I became the owner of an older 911. More precisely, this wonderful 911. It's a Carrera 2 with a Tiptronic gearbox and a mere 26,000 miles. And I've fallen slightly in love with the thing. I mean, that's probably because it hasn't broken down yet and the IMS bearing hasn't blown and so on, but there we are. As you see from my other films, it's great as a touring car and a hoot on the track too with all that grip. And yes, I know it's an automatic. At the time I bought it, it suited me for the trips I was doing up and down to Manhattan from Connecticut, which I might add all stopped more or less the moment I bought it due to COVID-19. Having spent so long typing into a spreadsheet, however, I am interested to understand which Porsche gives you the biggest bang for your buck, and to see if hard data can prove anything. I strongly suspect that even if it does, I'm trying to preach data in a very emotional area. I mean, these things stir naked emotions, so you want what you want and stuff the data and what everybody else thinks, right? So good on you. Same here actually. Tiptronic owner here, remember? Well, let's have a go anyway and see what happens. Which car goes the best for the least amount of money? Where is the sweet spot along the continuum of expense, power and weight? When do diminishing returns set in, and how much further down a very exponential cost curve do you have to go to get the very best? Just because a car is old, does it mean that it's slower than its newer peer? I mean, if you've got the money, it's easy to go out and buy a 991 GT2 RS with its 690 horsepower, its weight of just under 3,300 pounds. I mean, isn't it? There are 40 on the market right now. That gets you one of the very best, but it has an average cost of just under $330,000, which is, of course, way out of reach for the average mortal like me. Are the newer cars genuinely fatter and heavier than the old ones, as the received wisdom would have you believe? Or what if we look at it the other way round and consider the relative cheapness of the Carrera models? Are they 15% of the GT2 RS car because they are only 15% of the price? So where is the sweet spot? And moreover, is there a way to make it factual and less prone to opinion? Most people's knee-jerk gut reaction would be to say a GT3 of some kind. They're powerful and by design lightweight. Or would it be the Turbo or Turbo S models with their sheer amount of power? Well, let's take it step by step. The answer, of course, is in the data. Let's start with the weight questions first. Here is our list of the top 10 of the lightest Porsches made between 1998 and today. So it's true to say that there are a lot of GT3s in there. But what we also notice first of all is how the 911 gets heavier as it gets older. And it's only the newer GT3s that compete with the older Carreras on weight. This list shows that it's the older cars that are the lightest actually. And you see what many consider the sweet spot of the older range, the 40th anniversary 996. If you're wondering what other modern sports cars weigh, here's a few for you to look at. Next to our list, Audi TT comes in at just under 3,200 pounds, the new Toyota Supra at nearly 3,400, and the new C8 Corvette at, again, just under 3,400. As you can see, all of a sudden, that 996.1, that lowly car, seems very light indeed. But it also has a lowly 296 horsepower, and the GT3 shown here cost between $105,000 and $415,000 on average. So let's take a look at how the Carreras compete from 1998 to today. Yes, it's true to say that with each model they get fatter and heavier. That said, that's quite dramatic language. It's not still what I would call heavy. So let's turn to power and see what we can see there. Here you go then. Here's our top 10 list. And it's basically a list of cars that we'd all most like to own, right? But again, the cheapest car on that list, the 991 Turbo, has an average cost price today in 2020 of $114,000, going all the way up to the most expensive, which is the 997 GT2 RS. And they come on around $375,000 on average. So can it be that with Carreras on the market for $20,000, that spending $400,000 gets you the best bang for your buck? No, our winner still isn't on this list. So what are the cheapest cars on the market? Take a look at this. And of course it's no great leap to imagine that the oldest cars, which are also the lighter cars, remember, are the cheapest. And of course that's exactly the case here. There's that 40th anniversary 996 again. Maybe our winner is on this list. But wait, we haven't looked at power to weight ratio of each model. The power to weight ratio is simply the weight divided by the vehicle's power, and then expressed as a factor of 1 ton. Sounds complicated, but when all is said and done, what it says is that if all cars weighed the same, what power differences are there between the models? You could have, for example, a truck that weighs several tons but which has 750 horsepower, versus a lightweight sports car with a weight of less than a ton with 200 horsepower. This way shows you which is the better performer and which is likely to accelerate faster. So here's our top 10 by power to weight. Leveling each model on bhp per US ton shows that we are back in expensive territory again. Actually, if this were real territory, I guess it would be some kind of mansion in Orange County, California, as far as the 911 world is concerned. The cheapest car on that list is around $170,000, going all the way up to $415,000 on average for a GT3 RS 4 litre. Sure, you could pay that and you'd have the most powerful car for its weight of all 911s, but we need to find a way of adding cost into the equation to balance it out. So far, we've looked at weight, power, cost, and tried to level it off between power and weight through the power to weight ratio. What if we try to figure out what each bhp per ton costs by dividing the cost of the car by the power to weight ratio? That way we'd see the cheapest way of getting horsepower and which is the winner of our test of the biggest bang for your 911 buck. Before I put this up for you to see, you should take all of this with a pinch of salt. I'm dealing with averages and only then with asking prices and not those that have actually sold. It's as reliable as it can be, and it's only a basic analysis done just for fun. So you should also know that in advance of me putting it up, that it's not a fix either. I was as surprised as you are to discover the result. So don't comment or write to me claiming this is all BS because your car isn't up there or I've done something with the numbers. I know this is emotional and I do expect people to disagree. Anyway, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the car with the biggest bang for your buck. My own car, the Porsche 996.2 Tiptronic. Here's our top 10. As you can see, these are the cheapest ways of getting the largest amount of power to weight ratio or the biggest bang for your buck for the money. And it's populated nearly all by the 996 model and totally by cars with the dreaded M96 engine that everyone derides. Look, these cars might be old, but they are light and still putting out a respectable 320 horsepower. In comparison, the current 992 Carrera puts out 380 horsepower and weighs nearly 3,400 pounds and costs over 4 times as much as our winner here, that's here, on average. And here's the thing, the 996 range is comprehensively undervalued right now. 8 out of the top 10 in our list here are 996s. Get one while you can at these prices. Anyone who tells you that they are no good, don't believe them, they are. For now though, I'll sit back a while and wait for the owners of 992s, GT3s or anything that isn't on the list to complain. I am sorry about that, I did say it was just a bit of fun. Anyway,